How's it going, everybody? All right, we got 54 people in the house, and Shekina had a problem with her internet for the regular scheduled show. She was going to talk to her landlord, and then she said, "Well, let's try to do it right now." So I think she's still having problems with it. I apologize for that. Everything's in divine timing, and if we're going to give it a few minutes, like maybe another 8 or 9 minutes, and if she can get on, then we'll go ahead and proceed with the show. Uh, and if she doesn't, then we'll get together again. We've had two really good shows with her before. A lot of people in the house. There's a lot of interest. There's a lot of stuff going on that we can talk about, and eventually we'll be able to do that. So, the universe is never in a hurry, and it's always on time. We know that. Thank you for all the beautiful messages, the love and support and contributions to keep us going. We're moving as fast as we can to being self sufficient. But I guess we're all in this together, and we are self sufficient, and we just keep pushing this thing out there. We've had some good shows lined up over the last 2 or 3 days, and we got some really good shows coming up this coming week. Judith Cassell is going to come on. Yuki is coming on tomorrow. And let's see, Audrey Light Language is coming on later today. So we've got some other shows popping up too that I haven't announced yet because we're still working out the details. So let's give her another 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to, oh, here she comes. Let me see. Let's see, what is this? No. No, that's not her. I'm going to play one more of her songs, and we'll give it a few minutes. And we may just do something improvisational, spontaneous. Let's do one more of her songs. Let's see. This one is this is a Blue Ray transmission, higher octave, ascension wave.
Will awaken dormant key tones of crystal awakening of the throat chakra and pineal gland. The Blue Ray avatars, dolphin and whales, will be holding and anchoring these higher frequencies for the planet. For all who are open to receive higher octaves of the DNA blueprint unity wave that will assist for ley lines, crystal sonic restructuring, patterning of the higher planes and fields of Gaia. The higher octave tone frequencies are awakening the body template Stargate crystal codes. The higher octave tone frequencies are awakening the pineal gland, a stargate in the middle of the human brain, a bridge of the higher dimensional awareness and time travel. They are multi-dimensional portals in the human body field, crystalline nature that can be attuned for direct communion with the electrical magnetic energy of the grid and universe. These human Stargate portals are avenues to unity consciousness and telepathic communication to your galactic and light families, the divine crystalline earth grid. Key codes of cellular awakening of your divine original blueprint where the holding of the past can be completely transcended. The divine holy matrix of the unity consciousness grid is re-emerging through the golden age of the healing of Atlantis and the body template to serve a higher plan of love, light, and oneness. Allow your resonance to vibrate in the light of your true essence. The blue rays are being called to remember who they are, to express the codes of light, the unique expression of the gifts of the Creator, to be the frequency. Allow the light of Source through you so others may know home, frequency, and connection. You may be guided to be heard and to speak your truth, to take back your power where you have not known that you needed to do so, as your emotional body intuitive template guide is showing you the way. The frequency is shifting through you, through the timelines, relationships, and circumstances, so you may know the path and direction. As a Blue Ray, you follow the way of love and compassion through the heart of the Mother's frequency. The Blue Ray Transformers are being called to set stronger boundaries and to transform the negative energies to the light. You may now need to be heard, to speak your truth where you may not have not before, to take back your power where you have not known, where you needed to, as your body emotional intuitive template is guiding you and showing you the way. You are the frequency ambassador from your galactic, angelic, light council and groups. and are being called to anchor the next direction of the ascension shift that happens through you. The new higher octave is assimilating you to allow yourself to be seen and not hiding your light. This loving presence through the blue ray of the mother frequency, the dolphin, whales, and Sirius is strengthening you. She has heard your call for home. Your presence is requested.
Test, test. Well, we're definitely having some pretty wild energies today. I know Shekina would like to have been here. Let's improvise a little bit. Let me pull this out. All right, let's make sure we got transmission. Isn't that beautiful, the work she does? If you guys haven't checked her out, Shekina Rose, you can catch her on Facebook, YouTube. Got 72 people in the house. I think we're back on now. Let me check. We're definitely having some high energies. They're not interfering, they're complementing us. Let's put it that way. Let's see. Are we back on now? Yeah. All right. So let's uh let's address this question that Andreas Kallenberger put up. All is well. Uh, we talk a lot about the different things that are received in transmission, downloads, and channelings. In these light worker circles, we talk about a lot of things. And what we don't talk a lot about is the point of his question, which is he'd like to talk about the controllers. And I think that's a real short conversation, to be honest with you. Um, we are the power. The power is in the individual, and that is where all this controlling and esoteric knowledge that was withheld from us, that was the purpose of it, was to keep us from discovering our own power. They were the lesser gods, if you will. They controlled the information. They tried to put us down for thousands of years, and in the perfect order, which we were a part of, orchestrating. This is all in divine plan. So there's nothing to be afraid of. The fact is, can I turn the volume up? The fact is that they are they are afraid of us, and that's how they built this matrix that we've shattered. And this last week has been incredible. Um, we have won. The light is with us. Yeah, we are the light. Uh, this internal work that we've all done over the last years and months, and especially over the last couple of weeks, this is what the power is emanated from. It's emanated from removing those skins that shrouded the soul. And so I would just say that's my answer. I'm not saying I know everything, Andreas, but what I would say is if you're focused on them, you're focused on the illusion. If you're focused on them, you're not focused on yourself. If you're focused on yourself and all the personal aspects of your trip that we all share collectively, and you're healing those things, for lack of a better word, then you are serving the collective as you serve yourself. Service to our higher aspects is the same thing as service to the collective. So we don't need to protest, boycott, or march. We don't need to even focus on those things that we know are illusion and that we know are injustice and unfairness. We just focus on ourselves, bringing balance to ourselves, and by doing that, we change the collective. And that's my take on it. And this is the probably around the 500 and I think 512th or 513th show I've been involved with. I've been fortunate enough, blessed enough to have conversations with many, many different people. And I would say all across the board of the people that I've talked to on this show, that they would all agree with this. It's all about the internal work. And I think we've moved into a phase, or whatever you want to call it, across the threshold here very recently with the last 10 days or 2 weeks, where we have started to realize the internal power that we have. And this is something that I'm glad you brought it up, because I know as a lot of people woke up, I know I did, when I started really coming out hard doing videos 3 or 4 years ago. I was talking about all that stuff, and at some point you start to realize that there's really no difference between what goes on in the global stage, what goes on in the family and friend drama stage and such. There's no difference in that. The bottom line is, if you're focused on other people, you're not looking at yourself. If something makes you uncomfortable, it's not about the external influence that you're perceiving as providing your discomfort. It's about the internal aspect of yourself that you've yet to discover. So that's my take on it. I don't know. We do a lot of spontaneous stuff here at Soulogy. I don't typically meet with anyone before we start a show. We like to keep it spontaneous and creative, intuitive, and imaginative. This is where our real power is. And so I take this as an opportunity, just like everything else that comes, presents itself to us in our daily lives. These are opportunities when things don't always go the way that we think they should or we would like for them to. There's really a tremendous amount to be learned from and gained from and expand from when we, you know, when we look at that glass as being half full, not half empty. It's an opportunity. So here's a great comment by my friend, the divine goddess Angela Brickerhoff, which after 3 years of knowing her, I finally got her name right. She says, no more hiding and sweeping things under the rug and remaining quiet. This is affecting all of my closest relationships. It feels that it is unloving. Rather, it is loving myself. So it can be confusing. And this is very true. This is very true. But the bottom line is, to thine own self be true. That's really it. There's no other way about it. We've obviously gone through this multiple life experience in this realm, which is set up in divine order to keep us, it seems like on the surface, to keep us from discovering ourselves. We were like a dog chasing its tail. And so, I really appreciate Andreas's comment and suggestion. I think it's something that needs to be cleared. We don't talk about it enough on this program. We've had some people come on and want to talk about it and complain about it and revolt against it, but I've always been able to turn it around. And it really gets down to the fact that we're all composed of the same God spark, goddess spark, whatever you want to call it. and there is no difference between any of us. And so anything that involves judgment, um, anything that is an external focus or projection is just a point of separation. It's incumbent upon us, no matter who we are, to take on that oneness, and that oneness, as Morgan says, is found through the road of individuality. It is important, Andreas, but it is not as important as you and I and everybody here. Um, the thing is that is everything that we're seeing externally is a reflection of our internal conflict and an internal imbalance. So the collective consciousness formulates what we're seeing out there. We've seen some extraordinary energies this year since the first of the year, like no other, especially and accelerating every single month. And we've seen some extraordinary examples of miraculous healing and other divine episodes. We've talked about them on this show. I've talked about the visitations that Morgan and I have had. The first time I talked to Shekina, she was having these visitations in the early 90s. There's a lot of people around the world experience a lot of divine intervention, divine episodes, and that's where the real focus is. As we change that, the collective will change. As we serve our higher aspects, um, then there's a parallel where the collective expands and parallels our own expansion. So that's where I'm at with it. And this is another great comment by Angela. By the way, Angela, I would strongly encourage you that on your post, now that you're writing, I would suggest, actually, to all of you, I've noticed this with a lot of people on their post, they have, the preferences set to friends of friends. I really believe that the gold and the wisdom, the love and the courage is through the posts that we all put out there, what I would call the 99.99%. And I would encourage all of you to uh, change your preferences to, I think on Facebook, it's entitled Everyone. It has a picture of a globe. So, Angela and all of you, I would strongly recommend you do that so you can get your message out to as many people as possible because it's important. She says this is a part of letting go of victim consciousness. The controllers have no control when we let go of the rubber band, as Morgan says. No more replaying the mind, battling the energy back and forth. And that's very true. You know, we have a choice. Morgan also says, I'm not going to have a relationship with my ego. Why would I have one with yours? Something like that. Um, and I tell people, and I've had, like a lot of us, as we go into isolation off and on, as these energies come in and require that, if we're smart and we want to go through this with as much ease and grace as possible. Um, I have a lot of people, not a lot, but I've had quite a few people unfriend me because I don't respond and this and that, or come at me, and I'm not perfect. I do the same thing, I'm sure. But, you know, I'm not going to engage because of ego, um, but not your ego, but because of my own ego. So we've all got that universal isolation. Let's see. Absolutely nothing you will get aware of the highest truth of Earth history in the next hours, Todd. I think we are the highest truth of the Earth history. We are, all of us, each and every one of us is a god and goddess, and that's not a cliche or some new age cliche or any religion or anything like that. The bottom line is we are the power. We're the infinite power. There's many people that are finding that flow, and the flow is not about resistance. It's about creativity. And I don't know if any of you've noticed, but as I've gone through the universal isolation, which is as recently as this week, about a week ago, actually it was 6 days ago. This is the fifth day since it happened. I hit my knees. I hit my knees in this hotel room. I hit a wall. Soulogy ran out of money, which we've never had much. And everything just came down on me. And I, in my own individual experience, totally surrendered in tears and come get me, beam me up. get me the hell out of here, or help me. And the universe told me very clearly, everything external of you is the universe. So get up off your butt, get on the on air, get on the show, and just reach out to the universe and integrate the 3D and 5D. You're not only going to get your assistance from the 5D or the unseen or the 5D plus or whatever you want to call it, but you're also going to get it from what's here on the 3D. And so I appealed to all the people involved with Soulogy. We were blessed with many small donations that add up, and we got back on our feet. I guess my point is that, you know, our emphasis, in my opinion, should be not on the resistance, not on what's wrong, but again, clearing our own stuff. Okay. And when we do that, what I'm finding in myself and other people is that your creativity booms from there. And so I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing people move through what we might call the mini, MINIMANY, dark nights of the soul, much quicker, with more ease and grace, and coming out more empowered. And I think that's the phase we're moving into and through the end of the year. If you listen to Romeo Barron, if you listen to Unity Grace and others, uh, this year is going to culminate into something absolutely miraculous. The things that we believe obviously are going to be the things that materialize. So, you know, my point here is that nothing's impossible, nothing's limitless. In what we consider a dense realm, it's a lot. There's a lot more to be said from converting what we might consider dense energy, converting that, transforming that into higher, lighter energy than the trick of turning higher, lighter aspects of our energy into higher energy. So, the universe teaches in a paradox manner. We would think that it's all out here and all up here, but we are the heroes of the universe. We're the ones doing the work. And don't forget that we're on the same level as every archangel and angel and galactic light being. Every single one of us is on the same level. They provide what we might call the Akashic. We came into these lives with the Akashic, which was the wisdom and the love and the light up to that point. And we are now what many are referring to as the living library. So what we're doing is taking that information and we're expanding it by the cumulative earth lives that we've lived. We're using that wisdom because I can promise you that the wisdom that we've gained here on Mother Earth is is the newest and the most powerful and expansive, and we're taking this universe to places it's never been before. And now we're entering the time of the coronation, the benediction, and what has been prophesied for many thousands of years. So give yourself some credit. Remember to go easy on yourself, and go easy on others, because although this is a very personal trip, um, don't take anything personal. I think that's one of the four agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and it's probably one of the most profound things that we can take to heart. We're going to be back in about 54 minutes with Audrey Light Language. This is her second appearance on the show. It's going to be an interesting, unique broadcast. She does some incredible work. She speaks quite a few different light languages, but this particular episode is going to be focused on a particular type of light language that she receives, which has to do with numbers. Because we got to remember, it's not about the spoken human language. It's about numbers. It's about sacred geometry. It's about light. It's about waves, frequencies. So we're going to be, I'm actually going to be the guinea pig. And so we're going to do a session, and she's going to go into light language and provide me with my personal numbers. As I understand it, these numbers that she gives her clients are kind of like a foundation or a place they can ground uh, when they need to. She'll be able to explain it better. We'll be back in 53 minutes with Audrey Light Language. Thank you all for joining me. We'll get back with Shekina in due time, and she's very excited to be collaborating with us, and we're very excited to be collaborating with her. So we'll see you shortly. Yukia, somebody mentioned Yukia. She'll be in tomorrow, I believe, at 4 o'clock Eastern time. That's going to be about a 2-hour show. That ought to be really good too. If you guys have ever caught her shows with us before, she's extraordinary too. See you guys shortly. Peace, power, protection, big love.